So would you leave, Victor? Would you stay or would you leave?
Victor, you are just saying Victor, but his soul has gone.
Hello, everyone. Once again, this is The Bridge with the Black Rider, and I'm Tonya Adebola. I'm going to introduce us to the guests that I have on today, the topic that we're talking about, and then we'll take a very short break. On my right is Timi Atonda.
Hi, everyone.
And on my left, we have Victor Uzozie. Am I pronouncing your name right? Uzozie. Okay.
Actually, it's Uzozie.
Uzozie. Yeah. Uzozie. Forget, you see, that was you. I didn't pronounce it, and you said yes. He's being nice. His name is Victor Uzozie, not Uzozie. But forgive me.
I'm used to people calling it Uzozie all my life. So
oh wow, Uzozie. Where's that name from?
Imo State.
Imo State. Yeah. Timileyin, you're from Ogun State. You know, it's beautiful because Nigeria is such a diverse country. We have 36 states, but we have over 350 ethnic groups that are speaking probably 350 different dialects, right? Because I mean, Yoruba, you have Yoruba, and then you have the Ekiti, the Ijebu, even the Ijebu, there's the. So anyway, but it's a beautiful thing. So I'm happy to have them on the show this evening because they're Gen Zs. I'm a Gen X. I'm an old man, but they're young people. And this evening, we're going to be talking about Nigeria from the point of view of a Gen Z. We'll take a very, very short break and we'll be right back. All right, so we're back. And I'm going to start, they say ladies first. Yeah. So Victor, pardon me. I'm a perfect gentleman. So, Timileyin, you're a Gen Z. Mm-hmm. You know, until recently, I wasn't very familiar with all this nomenclature. Mm-hmm. Millennial, baby boomer,
Gen Z, Gen
Alpha, yes. Gen X.
So, I mean, I wish I was the Gen X. But
why? Why do you wish you were a Gen X?
So, I was fortunate to be born during, in the 90s, then 2000s. So, I'm a bit in the middle. Okay. So, I experienced life a little here and there.
Okay. Anyway, so a Gen Z is from those that were born in the 90s, correct?
Yes, right. So 1996.
96, okay.
Yes, to the year 2000.
To 2000. Okay, fantastic. So, Timileyin, what is your view? Since you're a Gen Z, how do you see Nigeria? What is your point of view of Nigeria as an entity? How has it treated you? How has it shaped how you look at life and who you are?
So right now, Nigeria is not given.
It's not
given.
Given.
It's not given in any way, shape, or form. I mean, I think we've seen better days, right? And, growing up, we're conformed to, you school study, learn some sort of corporate course and, join the 9-to-5 system. And, it seemed like that's the way you could, be successful and stuff like that. But right now, it's like, that's like the way to be poor.
So basically, because I'm Gen X, which means I was born between 1965 and whenever. Mm-hmm. So that orientation is what my parents taught me. Go to school as far as you can go, preferably get an HND or a degree, get a job, start a family, retire on government pension or whatever pension and live your life. That was like the format then. Mm-hmm. What you're saying now is that has completely changed and that is basically the bridge to poverty.
Right now, you can't live with 9-to-5 salary. It's not possible. It's like, let's say you receive your salary on the 25th of the month. It's finished on that day because you've owed down.
I think, sorry if I'm jumping in. I think salary is even relative here because when you say salary, what is the salary? Because the minimum wage in Nigeria today is 30,000 naira. So are we talking about that? People, when you say salary, what range are you even looking at?
Whatever range it might be, right? Even if, let's say, whatever range it might be right now, it's just the fact that you can't have one stream of income, which is your 9-to-5, and be fine. right now in the country.
Was it like that? Do you think it was like that?
That's the irony. I mean, so I was used to, when growing up, my mom be giving those tips and everything, and she give you 200 naira as tips, and the way you be saying the thank you is like, oh, thank you. No, it's ironic because it is Nigeria. We're supposed to cater for us with something we're supposed to see and be able to say, oh, I want to work towards this. There's no zeal anymore to want to work towards something in the country because it's like nothing is working for us. So it's like, in fact, it seems like, when whatever you study in school, check it, like more than 80% of whatever people that studied anything in the university, they are not using it right now. So luckily for us, we are in the digital age. So we're able to grow with using digital tools to try to get, work around ourselves and make money, and it helped us. As against, the millennials and the Gen X and everything. So that's really what is helping us. But to be honest,
so your personal point of view is that Nigeria is a gloomy place now. Is that what you're trying to say? That
if you could give Nigeria an emoji, it'd be the sigh emoji.
What is an
that
emoji?
Sigh of.
Okay, emoji. Okay. So it's sigh.
It's like sigh.
Okay.
Because what do you want to do is the side and the expressionless
so
one.
It's not positive.
It's not.
To be honest, I think to be the skull emoji.
Sorry?
I think to be the skull emoji.
It's expressionless to an extent.
What's your point of view of the country?
Man, I don't even know where to start from because you see people struggling each day, and the thing is, you have to be grateful because sometimes you might think your situation is really bad, and then you see people who are having it really, really bad, and as she said, people will go to school, want to work 9 to 5. And then there's nothing wrong with working 9 to 5 or wanting to work 9 to 5. It's just there are people who don't really want to do much. They just want to earn, have a family, have experienced life, and that's it. But right now, it's almost so difficult to do any of that because, okay, say you work 9 to 5, you earn, even if you earn like 200, 250, 300. I mean,
which in today's currency, how much is 300,000? $300.
No, not even up to.
Like so
let's just say today's.
So okay, so I mean, this is not
300,000. 300,000 today is less than $300.
Yes,
a month.
This is not. Can I curse?
No, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so this is not to shit on people who earn that amount, but you'd still struggle no matter what. You're struggling if you earn that amount, and then you see people who live lives of crime, and you're forced to let me not use the word forced, because if I say forced,
it will be like you're compelled.
So but you're human, the thought will cross your mind, oh, this person, you see you on the come up with this person, and the next thing you see this person has a vehicle, has this, has that, and you're looking and you look at yourself, and then you're forced to ask questions. Now, where's my life going? So the best word to use is, for young people like me and her, Nigeria leaves you with nothing but despair.
Let's not forget depression.
That's
like if you notice, a lot of young people these days real quick to, because you see your mates that that, oh yeah, we started all together, and all of a sudden it's doing fine, it's doing good, and you're like still on that 9 to 5 expecting the promotion.
Doing fine how?
So in terms now, we're talking material things, right? So we're talking liabilities now. We're talking the cars, the 2023 Benz driving, the house in Banana Island or Lekki, and it's like driving by and you're trying to get your bus or trying to board the
BRT. That has always existed. If that is a measure, that has always existed, because I finished university in 1989, right? I finished NYC 1990. That time, even at that time, those inequalities existed. So if it's just about your colleague driving a bigger car than you or living in a better place, it's always been there. So what is the difference? What exactly? If I experience that at my time, I should be able to say, okay, things are really gloomy. So what exactly is the difference between that type of difference and what you're talking about today?
So we're talking in the context of people turning to crime.
Okay.
So, like, I'm trying to buttress this point of when young people turn to
crime.
that other type of means of.
So turning to crime as this is our only way of living a dignified life, or what?
As the only way of survival. And
survival now.
to them, that's going to be their defense mechanism. And they would use the country to buttress it. Like, oh, don't you see where the country is going? What else can they do? Now, I'm not saying I agree with them, and that is not enough reason. But check it. That is their own reason. Justified. Do you understand? That is what they used to justify such. So it's not a case of, oh, I worked harder than you and I focused on this, or we had different ways of thought. It's like, okay, a lot of people are turning to this type of life and they are glorifying it. And if you can't beat them, you join them.
But there's always been that.
Yeah.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's always been that. But
there's
always been crime. There's always been people who feel that. So do you see in this generation today?
Yeah.
Even before now, there's always been, even in the 60s, there are people who felt that crime was the only way. Are you saying it's become generally difficult for somebody who wants to live right, to live decently, is in a decent manner? Is that what
right now?
Yes. Is that where your conversation is going? Because that will change the narrative, and I think I can understand that. Yeah. So is that what you guys are saying?
Well, in a way, yes, because you see, and this is not just for Gen Z or young folks. The value, this now comes down to the value system in the country. You see,
value system,
yes,
of the country.
And this is just as a result of poverty. When resources are scarce, people will do anything to have those resources, and then the people who can't get those resources will glorify people who went to extreme limits to get those resources. So that's what I mean when I talk about the value system. You see, criminals are being praised in the country. Criminals are praised, are worshipped. Fraudsters, there's music about them. There's you can't even go to a club and just have a good time because it's one fraudster or the other trying to shut down the club. And now it's worse because now clubs, lounges, they just increase their prices because they know there's always going to be a fraudster who's going to come and then pay. And it's so bad now because, how will I put it? People like us who want to have a good time, have the club experience, it's almost difficult because you can't go into a club with how much are you earning? You can't go in and say, okay, I want to buy what's the cheapest drink you can get? Maybe a Jameson Black Barrel.
But
you can't.
Victor,
yeah.
Going to a club, maybe it is somebody who has eaten.
Exactly.
Oh, so you're talking about luxury now, in my own opinion.
No. I'm talking about how like the value system has made things so like how it has affected other areas.
Okay.
So like even if because you don't need sometimes I can speak to my own experience. I've been fortunate enough to not have to bother about food, so I can't exactly speak to that reality, but I know it's bad and I'm not going to act like it's not, but I can speak to my own experience. I'm not saying I want to go to the clubs regularly, but I'm saying you want to have an experience, you want to do something, but at almost every lounge, every beach, almost everything has skyrocketed with price. There's the exchange rates and also the fact that they know there is one person who has stolen so much money who is not going to think about the price of these things and then pay for it.
And this is not dissing. This is not dissing the ad workers. I mean, shout out to the people that they have like mindsets in business and are even excelling in their 9 to 5 work. So it's not saying that there are not people that can afford it without doing fraud or without stealing money. There are people that they can. Yes, they can. But you just know, like when you see, even speaking from a woman's point of view, these women have used this as a yardstick to pick partners. So there's this trend of Yahoo Pablo. You understand? Yahoo Pablo. Pablo's wife.
Pablo's also.
You understand?
Which Pablo?
Is it Yahoo
Pablo
Pablo?
Escobar.
There's a, like, people call Pablo like any fraudster who is popular.
Exactly. It's Pablo Escobar now.
Is that what's trending now? Because I'm so old and laid back in my thinking. Sometimes I don't even know what's going on.
Yeah.
So are you?
So as a woman, right? If you don't drive, so it's like, it's so bad that they've made women, like, as some women, they be like, if you're not like this, you're not like this, you're not like this. They use those kind of people as a yardstick for them because they assume you can't provide for me that way if you're not doing that. So they know and they want to be part of that lifestyle. They want to follow Pablo to club so that Pablo would.
So Pablo now being a representation of somebody who makes a lot of money through criminal means.
You understand? And then there's the hype man doing, if you don't, you know you don't have money to stay in VIP, please go down to regular. Let them give you water.
Salary earner shouldn't be.
Don't be there. What are you looking for there? And
are
they wrong? Because even the salaries they are getting from their 9 to 5, what can they use it to do? How can they use it?
We'll take a very quick break and then we'll come back in a few seconds. All right, everybody, once again, welcome to The Bridge with the Black Rider. To my right again, I have Timi Victor. To my left, Victor Uzozie. Forgive me.
No problem.
Now we're talking about how do you feel Nigeria views you? I mean, look at the last elections. Look at the election before that one. Look at the election before that one. Look at policy making. Look at the design of our experiences every day. Look at daily governance. Do you think the people who govern things, when they're in their decision making, think it is important to carry the Gen Zs along? Do you feel needed? Do you feel relevant? I mean, you're in your 20s now, I want to believe, or early 30s, or whatever. I mean, it's that range. I mean. So, do you feel that you matter in the scheme of things? How do you feel?
To be honest, we are not rated enough in our own country, which is unfortunate because check it. Anywhere you see Nigerians, we are like excelling. We are excelling everywhere, and we are like one of the smartest bunch in the world. So it's so unfortunate that we Gen Zs, the youth, as like gold that we are in the country, they are not maximizing it. They are not making use of it. Like, we are very smart, not just like intellectually, but also in terms of decision making. And I feel the powers behind the country are too involved or too obsessed with themselves to actually explore this. So we have to ask for the platform. We are asking to give us space. Let us come out and show you what we can do. And you're like, oh, okay, you're just so obsessed with yourself and your archaic way of decision making, not knowing that the world is revolving. And if you don't, give us that space to show what can happen or changes that can be made, we're still going to be in that endless cycle of nothingness.
Victor, what's your take?
So, first of all, the way Nigeria sees us, I don't even think they see us. Because, so looking at how power has revolved at the top, before anything, Africa has the youngest population in the world. And there are so many young people in Nigeria. The people at the top, it's not even about the lack of innovation in ideas or the fact that they just can't do anything. It's the fact that they are aware that if we are educated enough, we are going to come up, challenge policies.
But you're already educated enough, don't you think? I mean, we're talking Gen Zs now. Most people have their first degrees already. Some have their second degrees. Some have relevant experience that, look, the IT space, the entertainment space has been taken over by young people, right? So it's not a question of capacity. I don't think it's a question of capacity. Do you think, this is just me, I know you say that they're not giving you enough attention, they are not looking at the potential of the Gen Z and younger people. They're not looking at the contributions that they can bring, and you're saying that Gen Z, Nigerians are excelling all over the world, which is good. Victor's point of view is that they don't even see the younger people, or not to talk less of even saying now that, okay, how can they contribute? But do you also think that tradition could also be part of the reason why they feel young people don't have much to give? Because look, I'm Yoruba, right? You're taught when you grow up to come and prostrate on the floor and greet your parents. You're taught to not look them in the face and call them names and call their names. You're taught to, respect your parents, respect your elders. And it's still ongoing. It's kind of changing. It's not as bad as when I was younger. Because when I was younger, it was all respect your elders, respect your elders, respect your elders, even when your elder is doing something wrong. Do you think that is also being carried into policy making and governance? Do you think so? Because it's left the home environment and the society now, it has come into governance.
So to be honest, first and first is I think there is something like a slight beef, between that tradition or that part of that generation that really upholds tradition, and then we. So we is the Gen Z, and down that we're more, open. We are very to the digital world, and we are, imbibing other cultures, so to speak. Now, it's a point where we can always meet at the middle.
Why do you say there's a beef? I don't understand.
So if you see any funny video out there, about maybe people from other states, another country, maybe the white country, and the child is talking back at the parents, and it's like, oh, don't do this, like, you don't tell me what to do. There's no, now this is even Africans or black person that would watch such a video of you telling your African parent of that parent, or you don't tell me what to do, and they won't laugh like that of can't be my mom. You understand that they would have backhanded you. We know that tradition. Okay. We know it. We know it. It's not like we do. We know it. We are knowledgeable to that extent. But what I feel the older generation don't understand is you need to be open-minded to change. You need to be open-minded to some sort of change. And there are places where we as young people, we need guidance because we don't know it all. But as much as you're providing guidance to us, you should also be open-minded to whatever change we can bring to you. Do not just provide guidance to us and be closed-minded to any other thing that we have that, okay, you don't know it. The irony is you were born in a different generation. We were born in a different generation. The thing that makes you still call your child to say, come let me look at this, what's up, and let me send this message, because that means you don't know it. And we have the knowledge. But if you feel, oh, what do you know? Your Bible will say, more. They know things. Yes, there's the part where if there's something on the tree, if a young child, climbs 10-story building, we would not see it, but the older one will see it. Fine. However, you need to understand that the world is revolving. We are also experiencing things. We go places where you don't go with us. We see things, and if we say, okay, this is how it should be done, means that we've also been exposed to another kind of, way that we know it can work.
Okay, there are 3 more questions, and then one last question, and then we're done in the next few minutes. So I'll start with Victor for this question, and that is, what is your opinion of the Japa syndrome, and do you think you remain in the country? Now, before you answer that question, I want to say that I've been in this country for decades, and to tell you the truth, I am shocked at the amount of people fleeing the country in the last few years. I mean, it is alarming. Is it the doctors? Is it almost every profession? Banks, IT, people are fleeing the country. Young people, from the forget Gen X. We're talking Gen Y, Gen Z. We can't talk about the Gen Alpha yet. But a lot of people between the Gen Y and the Gen, which is the most productive years of a person, are exiting the country in droves. And even talking about not just legally, we're talking about even people crossing. Some are hiding in ships. Every week you see the story of somebody that the Navy caught. Young people, I saw last week 4 people. The youngest was 16, the oldest was 23. 4 of them were hanging inside a ship, headed towards India, I think. And the Navy brought them out. So people are escaping. It's almost as if you're running out of a ship that is burning on the high ocean. And you just feel like, I need to get out. So what's your opinion of this Japa syndrome? And do you see yourself, Victor, remaining in the country? Do you think Nigeria gives you enough hope to remain in the country?
So before I answer the question, I was on Twitter this morning, and there was this video I saw. It was this person talking about how talent will always leave. So first of all, young people in Nigeria are not stupid. If you have a degree, say you have a degree, you have your master's, you're knowledgeable enough to see that the leaders have no plan for you. There's no foresight. There's honestly no plan. You don't need to look too hard to see it.
Did not send your dad.
I think what you said now is so profound. I'm sorry I jumped in. That the leaders have no plan for you. Is that a strong sentiment among young people?
It is. It's very, very, because first of all, you see, during the elections, they used a lot of young people, young uneducated people on the streets, use them to their own gain and their own advantage. Use them, loot ballots, disturb election locations and all that. And once elections were done, they left. And when I was talking about education, they intentionally keep these people at this level because they know they can always come and hand them something. So, first of all, poverty has been weaponized. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows poverty has been weaponized in this country. So, you can't now be someone who is knowledgeable to an extent, now be in the country and look at everything going on and say, okay, you know what, maybe I should stick around a few years. It is very obvious because there's no point. I have never faulted anyone who has decided to leave the country because, in truth, it is the best decision for you.
You feel so?
To them,
you can't, if your talents, education, and all that is not appreciated in the country,
we'll go to where it's appreciated.
You will always, the truth is, you will find a place where it is appreciated to an extent.
So would you leave, Victor? Would you stay or would you leave?
Victor, you are just saying Victor, but his soul has gone.
Victor, would you leave? I mean, you're here now.
Yeah, I'm here now.
Would you leave? Definitely.
You know, there's a saying.
I'm not even going to hide it.
You know, there's a funny saying that you don't know who is going for it to UK tomorrow. Appreciate yourself now. People. Victor's gone now.
Are you going to leave or are you going to stay?
To be honest, right, I could go into a whole story about staying and leaving, but first thing in my head is I will leave.
You're going to leave?
Yes, but if I now say, okay, let me be patriotic to an extent, I'd be like, okay, what I want to do, right, and I said it, I will say anywhere, is if I'm going to go, I don't want to be stuck there. I don't want a case where, because every means to leave is to leave, so I just go, take whatever they give me and go and sit there, and I can't come home, right? I can't come home. I can't do things here.
That freedom is always there. You're always free to.
Sir?
That freedom is always there. You can always come back.
Is
right? Yeah, but
so yes, you can if you want to. But however, it depends. Like, let's not go into documentation processes and whatnot. But let's say I want a case where whatever I'm doing there, there's still no place like home. Even if the power here don't have plans for us.
You have not answered with a yes or no.
I already said yes. I said I would go.
So you would leave.
I would go in a heartbeat. Like,
okay, in a heartbeat.
To be honest, you're going to get this answer from almost every young person.
Almost every young person wants to leave.
You're going to. I do have a friend who insists that no matter what, he's staying in this country.
How old is he?
And that he's a year older than me. He's 27.
Okay.
And I always ask him, like, guy, what are you doing here? But he, for some reason, just like my dad, he has a lot of, let me not say faith in the country, but faith in his ability to make it in the country. That's what he has faith in.
Because he has seen better days.
So do you have faith that you can make it?
Faith in what?
No.
Ability to make it in the
country. You think? Okay, let me rephrase the question. I know we're heading towards the end of this show, but what will make you stay in Nigeria?
For starters, is please, dollar should not be 1,000 too.
No. See, that is something you can't control today. That's something I can't control. I don't even think that's what the present president can control. Forget about the dollar. You see, whether the dollar is at 1,000, 1,200, if you want to go, it was 750. Now we're at 1,000, 1,100 and something. Let's leave all this. So are you saying if the dollar can crash to something to make you stay, what exactly will make you remain? Make a decision as a Gen Z that I'm remaining in my country, I'm not going anywhere.
First things first is there are some things that need to be working. See, there's this thing that we say, may Nigeria not happen to you.
Yeah.
So imagine how bad it has gotten to that it's a prayer of Nigeria not happening to you. I keep telling people that, I keep saying that it's tiring that you have to be concerned about some basic amenities in the country because we're still struggling with electricity, housing, and so many things. To be honest, now that we speak about it, see, you ask a lot of people, right? And honestly, if we're going to talk about housing, they'd rather do housing here than there, and they know. Because explain to me how I'll be paying house rent monthly over there, and that's like, almost like my 1 year rent. So imagine there are like things like that. I'm still worrying about basic amenities. I'm still worrying about transportation, electricity, nationwide grid, national grid, and stuff like that. So even the simplest things are not being fixed. Can I really put the responsibility of big things on the country to get things done? Do you understand? Like, you haven't even settled the main thing, the littlest things. Like, so you can go home and you're not worried about, something happening. You're not worried about transportation prices skyrocketing. You're not worrying about the fuel prices going high and low. You're not worried about the grocery prices just going like no matter. If we can get that done, then we'll talk about the big things like, okay, making plans for the Gen Z, creating more digital work. It's not a case of let the minimum wage be able to get me to a particular place. So it's like earning 300,000. If you were earning 300,000 in 2010 or 2013, so that was like 10 years ago, you're a big person. 300,000. Do you understand? You're a big person. The incentives that were coming when you joined some certain companies were like you were fine. What do you need extra work from outside to do? But now, Your 300,000 is like, okay, just you're barely scraping by with your 300,000 and you have to save. So you're not even saving, your savings that is saving you.
Also, like we'll take a break, a very quick break, and then when we come back, rather, I have one question, and then I'll ask you people to do something. So, you've heard from the Gen Zs how they feel about the country, what their thoughts are, but we'll take a very quick break, and we'll be back, and then a few minutes after that, we'll be done with the show. But thank you very much for sticking around. See you in a few seconds.